Hey everybody, how's it going? Make sure you guys can hear me. Make sure you guys can hear me and see me. Papa's in the comments now. Just kind of monitoring you guys' comments and talk a little bit about a channel before we get started tonight, and then we'll jump into the rest of the festivities. So I don't see anybody saying anything. I can hear me. Hey guys, you're on. There you go. All right. So tonight, for the first couple minutes, before we really get started with anything else, I want to give a major shout out to a viewer of ours, a subscriber of ours named Norseman Honey. That's the name of the channel. And the channel itself has a ton of videos, everything from waxed honey or beeswax to just kind of life around his house, harvesting honey. And then the cool thing is there is a ton of videos on gold mining. Let me turn my phone off. But there is a ton of videos on mining for gold. Not huge operations with cranes and all that kind of stuff, or blowing up the side of mountains, but just simplistic out of a bucket, running sand, what they call flowered gold, I think is what it's called. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys a couple of his videos. They look like they're done with a phone, but the content itself is really good content. So I'm gonna go ahead and share this screen and kind of show you guys. It's pretty cool. We still got about another, let's see, about 2 minutes before we jump into the rest of the live. But again, there we go. There we go. All right. So this is actually them mining for gold. And the cool thing, turn it down a little bit. The cool thing about Norseman's channel is it kind of looks like it has developed over the past years. And I think his first video that he posted was forever ago, like 6 or 7 years ago. But he mined gold for like 25 or 30 years until he retired, and then kind of picked up beekeeping. But this is them going out with nothing more than 5-gallon buckets and screening for gold. A little bit of wind noise in the background, but and then taking the filters and then throwing them in the funnels and sifting through the sand. Very, very cool. I don't know about you guys, but like whenever I'm still pretty relatively young, but whenever I was a much younger child, there's Papa. Whenever I was a much younger child, Papa used to take me to like state parks and all that kind of stuff, and he would get me those. He would get me the decorative rocks and stuff.
I still take you to state parks.
Well, you still take me to state parks, but you get me like decorative rocks and stuff whenever I was a kid, and I absolutely loved those things. But to like go sifting through and finding your own special rocks, that was always fun. This is actually a hive of his that he's in the process of draining. So that's all the more or less the wax and I don't know the exact terminology of it. Papa, if you could help me out. But it's the wax and all that kind of stuff, and now they're putting it in the strainer and letting all that raw honey drip into the 5-gallon bucket.
Basically just extracting the wax or extracting the honey.
And then you can throw that wax into just don't do it like me and Papa did. We put it in a slow cooker because we didn't know what we were doing. We put it in a slow cooker and
my daughter, who's very, very crafty and has done beeswax projects, you know, quickly come in and she said, "What's that burning smell?"
You guys aren't doing it right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he this is him harvesting again the volume, but this is him harvesting some of his honey from one hive and running it through, like I said, that strainer into a 5-gallon bucket. So, but if you guys look at his channel, like I said, it goes all the way back to 8 years ago. So there is tons and tons and tons and tons of content to really look through. And there's some odd and end stuff. Dog tackles peanut butter, that was hilarious. But some of these gold mining videos are they're very interesting. They had me watching the entire video.
I find that stuff interesting. Several years ago, I was out in Reno, Nevada, and I did not know that one of the older industries around that area was silver mining, and I just found that just absolutely fascinating. There's abandoned mines everywhere around Carson City, Reno. I mean, I took like a 4-hour road trip all by myself in a rental car. I was out there for work, and then I skipped out on some conferences just so that I could go discover silver mining. So it's pretty fascinating.
But again, just tons of content from, like I said, gold mining, or mining for minerals to random stuff, dogs. There was another really cool one somewhere in here where I don't know if it was his neighbor or not, but he had a really old, I think it was like a Pontiac, really old, like 60s, 70s, and it was very well restored, or it was just well kept up. So, but if you guys have not checked out Norseman Honey, he is at 966 subscribers right now. So head on over to Norseman Honey, help him reach that 1,000 landmark, and I'm sure that would make him very, very happy. And he is a huge supporter of especially the live streams. We have, like I said a couple weeks ago, we have only missed one live stream as far as doing a giveaway. And it was just because we were running behind. But if it wasn't for,
I forgot.
No, we blew through it.
I knew through it, but I forgot because I skipped over that in my notes.
I noticed we were blowing through it. I noticed we didn't do the giveaway, but it was like towards the end, and we were already, I think, at like an hour and 15 minutes. I was like, yeah, we gotta go. So, but again, help Norseman get over that 1,000 landmark. And he's just an interesting fellow to watch. And it appears that he's actually only been doing bees for like about a year. Or that's how much. Let's see, maybe a little bit over a year. But he doesn't have a abundance of bee experience. Because he actually made my first beehive, or like an introduction for beginners, a little bit over a year ago. So again, check out his channel. And
this was this highlight for Norseman Honey was something that Rick came up with to kind of highlight a channel that's been super supportive of us. And let me know if you like that, and maybe from time to time we can do another one of those for other channels. I think that would be cool, because I'm still trying to figure out a way that we can kind of support larger channel as well that are supportive of us. We started off with this just get to know them segment, and that's everyone under 1,000, but we'd love to figure out a way that we can support the larger channels as well without dominating kind of the live stream time that we have.
And he's the Canadian.
Yep.
Hey,
there's a lot of Canadians and a lot of Australians that come on. So
we have a lot of
love to have you all.
He said this will be his third year. So this will be his third year. This summer will be his third year. So
notice what I just said. I was talking about the Canadians and the Australians. I said, we'd love to have y'all. See, that's Southern United States for mate. I guess we could use them synonymously. So I could have very well said, "I'd love to have you Canadians, eh?" And the Australians, mates.
Yeah, that's Twin Brooks
But we're
Acres.
but we're in
Eh?
Florida, so
Eh?
it's y'all.
Yep, y'all. Yep, y'all. Everything's y'all.
Renaissance Homestead. Us, whoop whoop. Us Aussies are catching up.
Yep.
So let's get rocking and rolling on this. So Rick did this intro kind of with Norseman honey. So we skipped our traditional intro tonight, and so that we could highlight and kind of show some love to Norseman honey. Hopefully, drive him some traffic over there. Want to do a shout out to our moderators as always. I'm not sure which ones are in here, but Simply Jan Homestead, love Jan, and she had some awesome puppy videos this week. She actually did just a live camera feed of her puppies. It was like cuteness overload. Highland Homestead, I want to send a prayer out to Eve. I think she's in here, but she left a message
I
earlier.
wasn't able to see it, but yeah,
she's in here, but she left a message, real early or a lot earlier that says that she got assaulted by her Billy today, and so I hope you're okay, Eva. I've been there and done that, and it is not fun. Lala got assaulted. Lala got assaulted 6 weeks or so ago by one of our bucks, but she made the big mistake with a full-size buck of turning her back on him when he was eating, and that was a gigantic mistake, and he knocked her over. So she does not do that. It's kind of easy to get in there around these animals, and you just kind of get a level of comfort, but with them around food, particularly in rut, you don't mess around with them. Paula Wells, she's in here. Moderator extraordinaire. Petway Family Farmstead. I don't see James in here. I talked to James on the phone today, and I want to give Petway Family Farmstead a gigantic and hearty congratulations. First, update on James's wife, Angela. As you know, she was diagnosed with the virus about a month ago. She's been in intensive care. She's expected to be in there about another 20 days, but she's off oxygen, and she is eating on her own, or will be eating on her own shortly. So she's making incredible progress. Just could not, prayers have answered. There's been a lot of prayer warriors out there kind of raising up Angela, and so, prayers are answered. So here's what happened with Petway Family Farms. I talked to James today. He was just over the top, almost giddy. He was giggling to himself. Now, if you've ever met James is a big dude. I've met James in person, had him up to a campfire when we were up in Georgia, and spent some time with him and his wife Angela, and Ed and Ernie Hatmaker. They all came to our camp, and we had some beers and talked shop, if you will. But James is a big dude, and he was just giggling when I talked to him today. And why, you ask? So I don't know if you've seen this. 4 days ago, James did we were immediately bonded because when we had the campfire, we took our Great Dane, Ellie Mae, camping with us. So she's there, and they were able to meet Ellie Mae. One thing led to another. They've got a Great Dane called Henry. Well, James did a short. Now, we talk every week in these tech sessions, is there a value in shorts? And my answer has been consistently yes, for smaller channels that are looking for view hours and for subs. So they ran this, I think it's like a 50-second short on Henry, their Great Dane, and in one day acquired 650,000 views and 6,500 subs. So they went in a matter of 4 days from roughly 350 subs to 6,600 as of about 2 hours ago in 4 days because of one short video that hit what I call the shorts jackpot. So pretty amazing. I am just over the moon happy for for James and Angela. I mean, they work hard. They got great content, but it's a great channel. If you haven't checked them out, but do so. So Walsh Farms, another moderator for us. I haven't seen Tony in here yet, but Tony's a great buddy. Adventures of Frank and Tina adds attention to detail and getting it done north of 7. So I haven't seen Roland in here yet.
I haven't.
So that covers some of my notes. And before
what's on your hat?
I haven't got there yet.
Oh,
ask me that in about 30 seconds.
Okay.
I haven't seen Lori's World on here yet either. And I wanted to show Lori that I had these on order and I've now received them. These are my Hungarian paprika seeds. So I can make my smoked paprika. Hungarian smoked paprika. All right. So my hat.
Dad,
what?
What's on your hat?
So last week I talked about the John McCain, which was another guided missile destroyer. This is another guided missile destroyer, the USS Cole DDG-67. It's the same class of warship as the John McCain was that I talked about last week, based up in Norfolk, Virginia. And the USS Cole is significant because it was struck on October 12th of 2000 by basically a small boat that was piloted by Al-Qaeda suicide bombers while that ship was tied up pierside in Yemen being refueled. The explosion ripped a 40 by 60 foot hole in the side of the vessel. As a result of that terrorist attack in 2000, 17 sailors were killed. 37 were injured as a direct result of that terrorist attack. Probably 4 or 5 weeks ago, I talked about the USS Stark, which is an Iraqi missile strike in 1986 on that vessel. And from the time in 1986 up until 2000, the Stark was the deadliest attack against the U.S. naval vessel until the USS Cole in 2000. So, as you know, anybody that's been on our lives for any period of time, I make it my personal mission in life, and I do a little segment on this live to kind of remember those military members, particularly those Navy members that were killed in service to this country, and the smaller attacks that don't get a whole lot of airplay beyond the few weeks following the event. So I make it my mission to remember those sailors, those lost. And I do that pretty regularly through my hats and then just talking about these different events. So
I saw a question in the comments.
What was that?
How many hats do you have?
A lot. I have a lot. And that's all I can't answer that question because I really don't know. I collect them. So somebody just said they're up here. I'm from Virginia Beach, maybe Crazy Homestead. Well, the Cole is stationed up at Norfolk Naval Station. So I've got a lot. I don't know how many. I've been collecting hats for 30 years, and I keep saying one day I'm going to put them in my workshop, and I probably will, but not until I show them to you. I'll put it this way: it will be a long time before I run out of hats to discuss with you. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Hey, who is that in the bottom? There's somebody.
All right. We have with us our guest tonight. We have our guest most recently. This is Little Frenchy.
3 of them in there now.
Yeah. Little Frenchy in Big Texas.
Hey
guys.
Hello. How are you?
Good. It's not just me tonight, as you can see. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. I love having the kids in here. That's awesome. You ever heard this? This is an American saying. I'm sure there's something equivalent in France. Kids say the darndest things. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah. The truth comes out of the mouth of the kids. But
that's exactly right. From the mouth of babes.
Yeah.
So if you want to be embarrassed, just have your kids with you on an interview. That will do it every time. That's the best. Yeah. It doesn't change even when they're in their 30s.
Hey.
Unfortunately.
So introduce yourself. So we've got 31 people in here. If you have not, if you're not familiar with Anne from Little Frenchy in Big Texas, please introduce yourself.
All right. So, I mean, you've got it all in the title of my channel, pretty much, and you can hear it. I'm very French. I still have the accent. Born and raised in Paris.
What does that mean? You're very French.
Well, I mean, I spent most of my life down there. I
Okay.
count the number of years. I mean, I've got about 10 in Texas. So it's not that bad. But I did spend quite a bit of time, in Paris, and moved to Texas 2012. And here I am, settled here with kids, family, and I would say it completely changed my life.
Who are your two partners here?
Oh, right. See, these are my twin girls. So this is me here, and this is Angélie here.
What's the one on your left? What's her name?
Angélie here.
Angélie. Who's the other one? What is it? I didn't hear you.
Sophie.
I didn't hear it.
Coming through clearly.
Sophie.
Chopin?
Sophie.
Sophie. Oh, Sophie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm sorry. It just wasn't coming through clearly. So, just kind of a little bit of background. I always kind of try to do a little bit of research on the channel. So, are you excited about being on here, girls?
Yeah. Oh yes, they were preparing before. Yes. Let me tell you.
What are you excited about? What do you think's going to happen?
What do you think? Oh, now you're shy? You're shy.
They remind me of my youngest granddaughter. So she's 5, and she kind of reminds me of them, with hair and everything. She's got very thick hair that it's kind of hard to maintain because it tends to just want to go everywhere.
Yes.
So if you see somebody come on the live tonight called the Crafty Hobbit, that is my daughter, who is their mother, and she will tell you she can tell me some stories about difficulty with hair. So.
Oh yeah, if she doesn't tame it in the morning, they're way out here with the hair.
So you guys see you're sitting in front of a map, and do the girls know where France is on that map?
They do. Actually, I'm teaching them geography quite a bit, so they know some countries on the map. They can.
Sophie, where's France at?
The first thing they're going to say is Texas, huh? That's very clear.
Sophie, where's France at?
Can you show France? No, let's do the test. You'll see. You'll be impressed. Look at the map.
Right.
There you go.
Angélie, where's Texas?
Okay, Texas is easy. Can you show Texas, Sophie? Wow, we're doing a geography test.
All right, girl.
No, they're pretty good.
Look at that. That is really cool for their age to have some concept that the world is bigger than where they live. That's pretty cool.
I'm trying.
That's pretty cool. So you posted your first video. I've got July 14th of 2020.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
What was that? Do you know what that video was? Do you remember?
Yes, I think it was an introduction in my backyard. And I was taking people around the backyard and finishing in the pool. It was like full summer. Yep, I remember.
It was your backyard paradise. And yes. the very first comment when I read it, it kind of chuckled. So you've got a swimming pool in your backyard, but then you've also got this kind of backyard paradise that you've created with koi pond and plants and all of that. And your very first comment was, I guess your most recent comment was, I would turn that pool into a freshwater pond so quick. So I guess that person wants to go swimming with your koi. So pretty cool.
But yeah, it's a lovely backyard. We've got some citrus trees. My favorite one is grapefruit, but we do have one that's mixed lime lemon. We have a few oranges tree. And I'm growing some pecans. We got a few things going on in the yard. So that's
did you plant these trees or were they there already?
The citrus one, it takes years, so they were there already. But we planted the bananas when we moved here. Pretty much from the now we've got bananas.
Yeah.
Wow. See, we get you can grow bananas in Northeast Florida, but it tends to we get a lot of freezing days during the year. So where are you at in Texas?
Multiple places, but the backyard paradise is in the suburb of Houston.
Of Houston?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On the west side of Houston. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, it was beautiful. I enjoyed that video. So
It's
since
a
you
beautiful
started
yard.
your channel, you have put out 78 videos.
Yeah.
464 subscribers. And your description says that you are a Parisian girl.
Oh, yeah.
So world traveler,
Yes.
finance executive, and mom of twin girls with an adventurous husband. So what's the most challenging? Being a finance executive or the wife of an adventurous husband?
I would say the mom of twin girls.
All right, touche.
It's quite an adventure, yes.
All right. See, I'm very far removed from having children that age by about 31 years or so, 30 years. So, you know, I've kind of those are like faint memories to me. Now I just kind of laugh as my children have to deal with their children who are about the age of your children. So
there are people, I would say, and this year with the challenges, the school and so on, I started homeschooling. So it added to the difficulties and the challenges to manage everything at the same time.
I don't know if me and my wife could do that. I mean, that would be very, very difficult. We both have full-time jobs, and I couldn't imagine doing homeschooling children.
Well, it's working good so far. I enjoy it, and as you can see, they're learning geography. Yeah, see.
Jandira says being a mom is the hardest job on the planet.
See?
I would agree with you, Jandira, and those and the moms out there that whether they work or not, the ones that go to work, you know, for example, Rick's wife, Chelsea, she works a full 40 hours a week, comes home, does dinner, deals with the children. So my hat is off to you because I would agree, that's probably one of the toughest jobs around. And the worst part is you don't get paid. You get paid in hugs and love.
That's a lot, actually.
Thank you, Billy Jean, for coming in and hanging out with us tonight.
And to be totally fair, I don't cook. My husband does, huh? So.
All right, so that's a man after my. I love cooking. I don't have, since I work like 40 minutes away from our house. I don't get to cook a lot during the week, but I do a lot of grilling, as you can see on some of my videos. I do a lot of cooking on the weekends. I do a lot of smoking, a lot of grilling. So I was on Ridge Life last night, and I did not know this, but Tim said that you and your husband is
Nanya, Texas on
the back. All right, well that's cool. So
he's the one cooking, yes, barbecuing and so on. It's
right. So I first become aware of that channel through Southern Life Homestead. Then I think he's now Southern Life Woodworking. That he bought. I guess he bought some chickens from y'all.
Yeah, yeah. And now we got his pig. Yeah.
There you go.
So very cool. Well, why isn't he in here?
I think he was in earlier. I saw a comment at some point.
Oh, okay. So trying to look at the comments as you were talking. So, well, tell us about, you know, why did you start a YouTube channel? What's your goal?
Well,
there he is.
The husband.
I'm watching.
But he's cooking at the same time. It's dinner time. You know, he's cooking in the kitchen.
What did he cook for? What did he cook for dinner tonight?
I think he's making spaghetti with meat sauce.
Never go wrong with spaghetti.
Yeah, it's
Never go wrong with spaghetti.
A kid's favorite. You can get wrong with spaghetti.
See, that's an awesome go-to dinner. You can't ever go wrong with that. So.
Yes.
Outstanding.
No, but yeah, the YouTube channel, to answer your question, I mean, I was not the first one to start. It was him. It was my husband who started this channel earlier this year. And initially, you know, with the COVID, staying at home and so on, I thought, well, that's a cool way to communicate, show what you do, and meet more people. So before starting my channel, I actually started a kids channel for the girls. So I tried that, except that I think YouTube has a lot of restrictions for kids.
Mhm.
So it made it very hard. I was sending some links back home to my parents who could not come to see the girls. And they were like, well, we don't get notifications. Because I said, okay, let me just forget about that one. Let me do my own channel. And then you see me and the girls and what I do.
Yeah,
And that's what started pretty much.
it's definitely a cool way to kind of, I mean, it's an online video journal, more or less. And especially in your case where you have family overseas and you kind of keep up with them and they can see you. And like Papa had said earlier with my sister, if she jumps in on occasion and leaves a comment, and she watches pretty much every single one of our videos that we post. And it's just a way for her to kind of interact with us and keep up to date with everything that's happening literally on the opposite side of the country. So it's pretty cool. I couldn't imagine having family in France and then having to, that would be hard. But hey, I mean, you do what you can do and like I said, it's pretty cool tool that you can use for a daily journal.
That's an interesting thing is as we've started these lives and we've talked to people about why they started their channel. It really surprised me how many people start channels really to document their life for their children and their families so that people can kind of see what they're doing. So that's pretty fascinating. So this is a funny story and it's related to your husband cooking. So Paula Wells commented in here. She says, wish my husband could cook supper. I'm going to let you. So my opinion on that, Paula, has changed over the last month. And let me tell you why. Because a month ago, I would have said your husband can cook supper. He chooses not to. And he's not playing his cards to reveal to you that he can cook. Because at the end of the day, cooking is really about following the directions. So about 3 weeks ago, though, Chelsea got home late, my daughter-in-law, Rick's wife, and Rick's going to have the simple task of cooking a hamburger. Now, that seems like a pretty simple task, doesn't it? Doesn't it? So I come home, and there's like the whole entire house is filled with smoke. And I said, what's happened? He's literally, so on our cooktop, he put the skillet right in the middle, covering 2 burners, put it on high, and then started cooking his hamburgers. He started a fire and melted the knobs on my stove. So I don't know that all men can cook.
I can cook, I just messed up that one, the 3 knobs, I had to buy new knobs.
Bomber Steve said there's a skill in making a good hamburger. Lee's Arkansas bound. Poor Rick. Oh, poor
yes.
Rick. Poor Rick, my fanny. I'm not giving him any sympathy.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him any sympathy, Lee's Arkansas bound, because his wife told him to turn the stove down and he didn't. She turned it down. He turned it right back up and burned the knobs off my stove. They had to replace them.
I didn't realize that there was a difference between like gas cooktops and electric cooktops. And the directions said to go ahead and have it on medium high. I didn't know that I could have it on low and it do the same thing because it's gas. So I'm sorry, Ann, I digress too quickly. So generally speaking, men can cook. They choose not to, and they don't want to play those cards to their wife. If you gave them the option between eating or cooking, they're going to learn how to cook.
If you look, most of the chefs, they're actually men. If you look in France, the best chefs are not women. Huh? They're all men.
Well, I love cooking. I really
go for it.
I cook some really weird things, and my granddaughter makes fun of me because I've got this thing where there's no leftovers that really get unclaimed in our house because whatever's we eat for dinner tonight is what I have for breakfast in the morning. So we had some clam strips, broiled clam strips and scallops last week. And in the morning, there wasn't enough to make like a whole serving. So I took an everything bagel and spread vegetable spread on it. And then I took my clam strips and and scallops and put it on top of the bagel. And everybody's looking at me like I'm from another planet. It was really, really good. It was really good. Oh, so will it grow? I love cooking for the wife, and I just eat too. So John, he's a good cook. I've seen or at least I've seen a couple of his videos. Boone Child says my father is a chef. Pafford Homestead, I cook every day. So you got some men out there cooking. Good for you, men. George free-handedly made George Foreman grill. There you go. Twin Brook Acres. My wife is a better cook than I am. Than I am a better eater. That would be Rick. That would be Little Rick's philosophy as well. He's a much better eater than he is a cooker. So, in your description, Anne, you say that discover with me some world travel. So, do you still do a lot of traveling? Do you get back and forth to Europe?
Well, this year has been kind of compromised here. I mean, no, I don't.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm even working from home. I'm not even going to the office. So, yeah, no travel, no nothing. But I used to. Yeah.
When I was in the Navy, we went all over the world, and I've been to Italy, I've been to Greece, I've been to Portugal, the Azores, never been to France. So Lala and I were scheduled to actually fly into Paris this last June for an anniversary trip. And we ended up, needless to say, it got canceled. We were actually going to tour the beaches of Normandy. And and it was like a week-long trip of basically one of the Band of Brothers tours. And I was really, really disappointed that we weren't able to make that. Number one, I'd never been to France, and I was really looking forward to that. And then I'm really a kind of a history buff, was really a lot to see. Yeah. So that was a bummer.
Yeah. I counted, a while back, and in total, I've been to 52 or 53 countries.
Really?
Yeah, well, Europe is kind of small, so it makes it easier. You've got a bunch of countries all there. But yeah, quite a few. South America, a lot. Spent a lot of time in India, and visited quite a bit.
Cool. I got a good friend. She travels a lot, and this whole year has really killed her because she can't travel. So you do. So what brought you to Texas? Is your husband from Texas?
Love brought me to Texas. Come on, love. Yes. He's very he's Texan, yes.
Okay. So really there was no other option. You're coming from Paris to Texas.
I had an opportunity as well with my company, so it worked out really good. Very,
very cool. Yeah. So, a lot of times you hear, had you been to the United States prior to moving here?
Yes, that's when I said I spent a few years. I actually studied in Texas when I was a student. I spent 3 years in Austin.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a difficult question. You need to be completely honest with me. Okay.
Wow.
Do people in France really view Americans as like those ugly, uncultured Americans?
No, not necessarily. No.
No. That's kind of the stereotype you always hear. Is that that's that ugly American going to Paris?
No, you get a mix of everybody. I mean, you got the very old generation, and I'm going to tell you, my grandma, she loved you guys, and you did military. She would have hugged you because she lived through World War II, and you were her heroes. All the Brits and the Americans who saved us, pretty much. So it goes different according to the generations. And the young people, I mean, they study more languages, they travel, they know better as well. It really depends.
And that's exactly what my experience was, because when, at least they used to, when you're in the military and you travel to other countries, usually the day before you go into a country, the crew gets a briefing of kind of some of the cultural norms to expect, so that you don't go over there and just do stupid things and get yourself in trouble because you're breaching cultural norms of that country. Mm-hmm. And so my very first port of call is, and this is when I realized I think I'm really going to like this Navy thing. And I was in for 7 years. So shortly after I get onto my ship, this would have been in 1986, we deployed to the Northern Atlantic, and my very first port of call was in a little bitty itty, well, it's not little itty bitty, it used to be little itty bitty, this little town of Kristiansand, Norway. It's near the southern tip of Norway, and they basically said, you know, they have the briefing, as I recall, it was that they generally really like Americans, but they do not like American politics. And that become really, really evident what that meant when we pulled in, because we were greeted with waving flags and a parade. And the reason being was because we were the very first U.S. Navy vessel to have visited that port since the end of World War II.
Wow.
They had never seen a U.S. Navy ship, and they greeted us like we were heroes.
Yeah.
So I don't think we were there for 4 days or so, 3-4 days. I don't think I paid for a beer the whole time I was there. And we had a really, really good time. so I enjoyed Europe. And, but you know, when you get a few beers into people, they start talking. And the one thing that became very, very evident was, we don't like the United States political system, and what they meant by that was really at that time President Reagan was the president of the United States, and that's pre the end of the Cold War. So they were putting intercontinental ballistic missiles throughout Europe to basically keep Russia at bay. So it was really, they kind of viewed the American military, the political system, as really poking the nose into other people's business where they didn't belong. So it was interesting, but I had a great time in every European country I'd ever gone to. And so, you know, people talk about the ugly American. That was never my experience. We were greeted with open arms everywhere we went. Another place I really went that I had a great time was Gibraltar. I spent 3 days in Gibraltar in 1989. That was
actually Gibraltar. It's just a rock, isn't it?
So I'm going to teach you something then, apparently. So at that point in time,
British, they speak English.
It is, and it sticks on the southern end of Spain. But at that point in time, this would have been late 1989, actually 89, 90. It had the largest concentration of anywhere on Earth of British pubs per square mile. So I had a good time there too. So that was fun. All right. So it says in your description, you do some farming, you do some gardening, cooking, and some homeschooling. So what kind of things? So how do you differentiate between farming and gardening?
Well, farming, I was more into the animals, you know, because we haven't really, I mean, my husband started the garden, but we haven't planted there in our future homestead. But we started with animals. So we started with chicken this year, and we ordered a few. Usually they transit a bit here in the Houston area until they grow, and then we put them at what we call the ranch, our future homestead, once they're grown. Right. So we started, and I got into ducks actually.
So I saw that video. Where are you working on that on the ranch now, or is it just kind of a weekend retreat? Because it looks like you're in the process of doing things there.
We are, but the house is not livable at this point. There's no running water, and there's it's more a fun place to visit and a lot of work to do. I mean, for us, it's a fun place to visit, and for my husband, it's a lot of work to do. Let's put it this way.
So it's kind of like camping, off-grid camping.
Yeah, kind of.
With a roof.
We got a well, we got some water, but it's not at the house. We do have solar, so there is electricity.
Okay.
But it's not all hooked up. Yeah, it's not. We're not there yet.
We got an RV.
But yeah, so now we're having fun with our animals. We visited not long ago. Love the dogs. We got a little goat, charming little goat. Now we got a new little pig.
Oh, very cool.
And a little rabbit.
Cool. All right. So what do you know? Do you have any idea what your best performing video is?
Oh, yes, I know.
Which one is it?
A short.
All right.
A short over Christmas. It was between Christmas and New Year. And it just took off at 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. one morning, and I was like, "What's going on?" I mean, it went viral for like 6-7 hours, and it was my dog with his Christmas bone. Incredible.
Massive.
Yeah, there's 144,000 views on this.
And my subscribers jumped because before that I was below 100. I mean, I was like stagnating below 100, and it just poof exploded.
It was pretty funny. I was watching it, and I literally, when the dog just kind of, he couldn't walk anywhere without the bone hitting the wall. And it's like the bone is like this long, and their dogs are probably medium-sized dogs, and they're picking it up by one end. So you got this free end over here that's hitting everything. It was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. That was cute.
Yeah, I was just not expecting it. I mean, it took me by surprise here. And you mentioned the short earlier in your live, but that's exactly what happened.
How many subs did you get from that?
350, something like that.
And that kind of reinforces what I've been, because we on this live that Little Rick does, I get asked, are these shorts worth it? Well, if you're a small channel that's trying to get to that 1,000, if you hit that kind of jackpot, I think the most that we've had on any ones that we've done are, I don't know, 7,000 or 8,000. We haven't hit anything even remotely close to 144,000. Petway, they did 550,000 in a matter of a day. I mean, it was pretty amazing. So,
yeah. And even the watch hours were good because it was a rather long short, like 55 seconds. So I got about 800 watch hours. So
other than your shorts, what's your most popular full length video? You
mean the one I like best on my channel?
Yeah, other than shorts.
Other than shorts, I kind of like my cooking, actually, the chocolate recipes, because I go back to them sometimes when I don't remember the recipe. I go back and said, okay, I want to do a chocolate mousse today or chocolate fondant. So I go back. I watch myself,
By my survey, it was a month ago that you did one on the basics in wine and food pairing.
Yes.
And so here, I'm looking at this. I'm tuning into it, and I'm going to be completely honest. I'm thinking, all right, she's going to be a wine snob, and she's going to say, you got to drink this wine with fish or this wine with pork or whatever. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to listen to her. And then at the end, you say, just drink what you enjoy. And I'm like, that sums it up. This is perfect.
People are getting so fancy with wine. At the end, it's all about enjoying it.
Because that's exactly my philosophy. Is I'm not a red wine. I'll drink it. I'll drink any wine. I don't drink a whole lot of wine. I prefer beer, frankly. But when I drink wine, it's usually a lighter one, like a white wine, and I like it sweeter. Growing up, when Lala and I were very young, we got to 21 and it's like, now we can legally drink. And so we would go and we'd get Boone's Farm in the quart bottle. You know what that is? You ever heard of that? Yeah. No. Yeah. You should never have that if you really like wine. We used to get Boone's Farm at the 7-Eleven and we pass it off as wine because it's really what we could afford.
My husband is laughing in the kitchen. It must be good.
Has he heard of? Ask him if he's ever heard of Boone's Farm.
No, I think he does. He's laughing at you. Yeah, he knows.
So he knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, we could get Boone's Farm at the 7-Eleven that was around the corner from our house. So that's about the extent of my wine of my wine knowledge. Not the Boone. So come on, Homesteading says not the Boone's Farm. All right, do an informal poll. Everybody that's on this live, tell me your honest opinion of Boone's Farm. Is it horrible? I don't think you can say that it's horrible. It's certainly not wine, but it's good. I enjoyed it. Haven't had it in a long time.
You're definitely getting a lot of traction with the Boone's Farm.
Good Lord. Jules Small Gardening says, good Lord, Rick, age check on aisle 2. But we would take that home and we would put our VHS tape in the player and drink Boone's Farm. So we'd go to what's that video place? Blockbuster Video with a bottle of Boone's Farm. That dates me right there. So it was fun. It was fun. So what's your favorite wine? And you can't say just whatever I enjoy.
I started with white, just like you. I started with like sweet white, and then it evolved. And right now, I much prefer the red from the Bordeaux region. So kind of like a Merlot.
Oh, so you're like even going down to like the region. So
Yeah.
I don't even know where Boone's Farm's made.
I grew up with it at the table. I mean, it's part of the culture, back home. It's.
See, I think Boone's Farm would be. I'd have to say like Boone's Farm from the Atlanta region, or probably something like that.
Well, I think they go ahead and they brew that there Boone's Farm somewhere up in the hills in West Virginia.
Oh goodness!
To try that one.
Oh, all right. So we talked about your garden. We talked about the ugly American, and we talked about kind of why you started your channel. So so you said you grew up in France, and then you studied in the United States. So kind of tell us about your background a little bit, so that we can kind of a little more about kind of what brought you to where you're at in life right now.
So the studies, it was an exchange program. I initially came, for 1 year, and I loved Austin. I didn't want to go back home, so I stayed a bit longer, pretty much. And then looking for a job and so on, I had opportunities back home, and I just went back. And I just followed, life as it happened. I traveled a lot from Europe. All my travels were pretty much done at that time. I had 10, 15 years just in airplanes, let's be honest. And then I came back, pretty much, as I said, love my husband.
Wow.
And since then, it's been a lot more quiet, because when you've got these two, to take care of all the time, makes it harder.
Well, they want to point something out on the map, I think, or they
they
want to
do?
continue a geography lesson.
Oh,
What do you want to show us on the map? Where's Europe?
You want to show Argentina? She's very good.
Argentina, Sophie.
You actually have some Argentinian following you tonight. I've got some friends from there. They're connected. See? She knows.
All right.
Look at that.
There's also, Sophie, there's also some Australians on here. Where's Australia?
Oh, yeah, Australia. Okay, that's the big island. Not the Greenland, the other big island. Yes! See?
There you go. So we're just going to call our Australian subscribers and our Australian fans, we're just going to call them the Big Islanders. That's my new name for the Australians, is the Big Islanders.
The Big Islanders, yeah.
The Big Islanders. As opposed to the small islanders like Japan. So, all right. Sophie, what's a hidden talent that no one knows about? What's something that no one else knows that you can do really well?
You paint really good, huh? You're a good painter.
Oh, really? What do you like painting?
What do you paint? Right now, she's a lot into rainbow, Christmas, houses with Santa.
Oh, very
It's
cool.
season, huh?
Where's Angelique? Did she disappear?
Yeah.
She's up doing her thing.
Yeah, doing her thing. Yes.
So I'm taking it. Angelique is the more independent one, and Sophie's the one that's more kind of like calm.
You are right. Totally. Oh, well, she went to see. That's a painting.
Oh, wow. Tell us what the painting is, Sophie.
So, what is that? What did you draw? That was a house, no? So what? Oh, she's being shy. Oh, okay. Well, a rainbow house. Okay.
Well, I
have something to help her be unshy. I have a joke.
Oh, hey, he's got a joke.
You ready? I have been waiting for the perfect moment to tell you this joke. My joke is, what do you call a dinosaur that is sleeping?
So, that's a good thing. You like dinosaurs, huh?
A dino snore.
A dino snore. That's pretty good, huh?
You remember, I'm telling you these jokes. You can't laugh. Don't laugh.
She's really being shy now.
Well, if anybody's got any specific questions for Anne, Little Frenchy and Big Texas. Go ahead and post them, and Rick can put them up. Other than that, Ann, you got any closing comments?
No,
Anything
thank
else
you for inviting me. I mean, it's as I said, it was my first live. I enjoyed it. It was fun, and I mean, I'm going to continue the channel as we grow and we develop our homestead. So there's going to be more homesteading videos coming up, probably more gardening, more farm animals, and so on, and probably a few more homeschooling as I progress in the homeschooling adventure, because that is a full adventure.
Well, I think my daughter is kind of back and forth with homeschooling because they just moved from Florida to Washington State, and the schools in Florida, they moved right after the beginning of the school year. So she chose to start the school year in a virtual classroom. And then when they moved to Washington State, my understanding is nothing up there is open yet. So everything up there is virtual. And I know some days I wonder if homeschooling wouldn't be easier for her to do because, she's got all of these timelines. She's got 2 girls and she's got all these meetings that she's got to coordinate via
Zoom and so on. Yes, that's why I homeschooled. I couldn't keep up. It was insane.
I mean, and it's like there's a meeting at 10 o'clock and then another meeting with another teacher at 1 o'clock. And I mean, she's like all day long between 2 girls, just going to different virtual classes. And
she's a super mom.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but at the end you lose less time doing it yourself almost. It's and I'm lucky given they're twins. It's the same program. I do both of them together. It's that's definitely helps.
So if you haven't seen Morris Patch of Heaven Homestead, and check them out because they also do a lot of homeschooling. Joyce and Jean over there, they're great folks. They do a lot of homesteading, and that's what she put in the comments is homeschooling all the way.
Yeah, they're learning fast now. It's I mean, I'm at full with reading, writing, and basic math right now, but they're progressing pretty well. So
well, that's awesome.
Well, it seems like you're doing an outstanding job. It does. So
thank you.
Boone Child says super moms rule. Boone, I agree. And again, my hat is off to all those moms out there that have multiple jobs and kind of underappreciated. So, I was, this is a funny story. If you saw our last video, it really, really made me nervous because I wanted to find something for my wife, Lala, that, so none of you Texas on the back 20 says she is a super mom. Look at that.
Wow. That's coming from daddy.
So he's bragging you up online and cooking. That's a keeper there. So, I wanted to find something for my wife for Christmas that she would really feel, that I was listening to her and I cared about her time and all this stuff. And I wanted something that she would connect with. So, I kind of watched her and I kind of dropped I'll drop some hints and clues. And so I ended up getting her, and don't laugh, a cement mixer for Christmas so that she could mix her goat feed really, really quickly. And I'm like worried when I'm getting this. I'm like, she's going to think this is the dumbest thing ever. And I thought she was going to start crying. She was so stoked up at her new cement mixer. So she calls herself what'd she say? The farm nerd?
Farm nerd. She said, I am a farm nerd. Very happy in the fact she's a farm nerd. So,
all right. So I haven't seen any.
If you guys have not subscribed to Little Frenchy in Big Texas, I'm pretty sure I still have it pinned. If I'm not mistaken, I still have it pinned in the live chat to the very top. Click on that link. Plus, Paula and all of our moderators, for that matter, have done an excellent job in dropping the link in the comment section. You guys make sure to head over to Little Frenchy in Big Texas. Show her some love. We've talked about it in the past. Don't just subscribe to her channel. Go ahead and watch just go ahead and watch some of her videos if they tickle your fancy, and leave some comments, some likes, and like I said, show her some love. She said, "Do you do any teaching French videos?" That's actually a question that I had really quick before we let you go. Do they speak French?
It's a very good question. They understand, especially her here, but they don't speak so much and they don't want to. They've never been to France, and I think it doesn't help. And it's just me right now speaking French in the house. You know, they don't have other kids their age to interact with in French, so it's pretty limited at this point.
I think
Initially, they were baby. I spoke French, maybe until they were 1.5, 2, and then they really were very slow at speaking, and I got a bit concerned. So we all switched to English.
They speak Texan.
that's what I was going to say. You need to teach them French with a Texas accent, so that when they ultimately
that's the way they speak. The few words they say in French, I have a very strong accent.
Yeah, so you got to teach them French with a Texas accent, so when they go back over to France and kind of interact with them, they sound like Walker Texas Ranger or something.
Oh, they do. So far, they do. Yes. But I haven't done any videos in French, speaking French, teaching French. I haven't done that. I didn't know if people would be interested. You know.
I think that's a cool idea. I mean, just having recorded
word of the day.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, just some basic basic tips on conversation. Yeah, we could do that.
I'd watch your videos just to learn how to speak French with a Texas accent.
There you go. I have one more joke. For you before you guys leave.
Oh,
Ready?
I'm back. Hey, one joke.
One joke. Here we go.
Sophie?
Why did the teddy bear not eat his dessert?
Oh, because she ate it first. I have the answer here.
Because he was stuffed.
That's good. That is good.
She's still hot smiling.
You guys are very slow, guys. It's pretty good.
All right. Well, again, you guys have a great night. Thank you guys for coming on to our live. We really, really enjoyed it. Hopefully, we can get you guys some traction. As of right now, I don't know what you started out with, but you're at 470. I think at the very beginning, you were like low 60s, maybe. So that's 10 subs. The more people watch this video after it's aired, hopefully you guys continue to gain.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that.
So Ann Cray's Family Homestead. This is Amy over there. She said I would have my girls watch as part of school. So you might have there might be a cool little lesson there or a cool little series of videos for you.
Girls, that's a good one actually. Yeah, thank you. I'll try.
Twin Brook Acres said thanks. Bonjour, y'all. So finding some French in South. Not Southern France, Southern United States. All right. And this was a pleasure meeting you. This was a blast. Any closing comments?
Thank you both.
All right. I'm going to be in touch with you because for coming on live, I'm going to send you and the girls a t-shirt. So,
thank you.
So
thank you guys.
I'll shoot you an email. All right.
Perfect. Thank you
all. This was fun.
Bye.
All right. Good night. That was a blast. I enjoyed that. That was fun.
Those girls are adorable.
So that's a question.
You didn't laugh at my joke.
Oh, it's like getting Amalia to laugh at your joke. She's just gonna kind of blow you off. She's laughing on the inside.
What it is, I'm super excited, you guys. I can't remember who bought it. We were absolutely blessed for Christmas this year. And I got a desk calendar. It's a daily desk calendar with jokes. And they're like the jokes that my wife tells, which are like really, really just, they're very PG. Or not PG. They're very G-rated. So I had a couple that I was going to share with you guys tonight. What did the shy pebble wish, Dad?
What is what?
What did the shy pebble wish?
I don't even know what you're saying. The shy shovel?
What did the shy pebble wish?
Pebble? I need a hearing aid, I think. What did the shy pebble wish?
Yeah.
That he was a rock star.
No, that she was a little boulder.
Oh, that's funny.
One more. How do you know when dad jokes are bad?
I don't know.
When they become apparent.
Yeah. So Robert at Homestead Aquarius, you said huge change is coming. Actually, partly inspired by Jules' small gardening. Well, goodness, I wonder what that is. Maybe we're actually going to see what Robert. Maybe we're actually going to show Robert's head. That would be cool.
I don't think it's going to happen.
We're actually going to see what Robert looks like because he's never shown his head that I know of in any video. It kind of reminds me of Wilson from Home Improvement. So Robert, is that the big change? He's going to do like headshots of gardening.
Oh, what do we got left on the agenda, Dad?
Well, we got coming up in the next week is going to be Micro Farmer. 120 will be Castle Hives. 127 Dusty Goat Homestead. That's a really small channel over in the panhandle of Florida. And then 321 Hickory Croft Farm. So normally what we do, we've been kind of soliciting folks each week. I'm not going to put anybody on here or on our list for probably another 4 weeks because right now we're booked out for 8 weeks. There's a lot can change in 8 weeks. So right now we got 8 weeks scheduled out. So in a few weeks we'll announce when we're going to start opening that list up again, so we can get some input from folks if they want to come on here. Rick, you want to talk about the tech sessions?
My live just like skipped a bunch. You said tech sessions?
I did.
Yes. Let's do a giveaway first.
Oh, okay.
And then you can monitor the comments while I'm talking about the tech session.
All right. So I have never actually talked about this. I don't think in a video, but I've said it on a live. One of the previous lives. I don't know which one it was.
This should be an easy one.
Well, I've talked about it. I know I have. I don't think I've put it on a video. But our junior herd sire, if you looked at any of the videos, you've seen our little red buckling. His name is Heat Seeker. Where did we get the name Heat Seeker from?
How long is it going to take? All right. So until then, at the end,
Getting it done north of 7. Roland nailed it right out of the gate. It's an AC/DC song.
There you go. There you go. That's why I didn't even want to start talking, because I knew it was going to be. I'm not gonna have the discussion here because it would decline and degrade very, very quickly. But I was listening to my playlist and AC/DC come on about the time that we were trying to figure out a name for Heat Seeker, and some of the names of AC/DC songs make perfect buck names, and that's all I'm going to say. If I've piqued your curiosity, go just Google AC/DC song names, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah. So what I'm planning on doing for the Sunday live this week, I'm going to try to post the thumbnail a little bit early and actually create the live. So whenever you guys see the thumbnail has been created, again, just keep in mind that it's going to be going. I will be going live Sunday at 7. It's more or less going to. I've noticed that there's a lot of people that have there's a lot of conversation and there's a lot of interaction in the Sunday night lives, a lot of questions, and then me trying to answer them. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to try to create the thumbnail and the actual live template probably like 2-3 days in advance. So it should be going on live after our Friday night upload. So I encourage you to go over to that video, that preview of the live for Sunday. And I've noticed, again, a lot of people have been taking a lot of the advice given and going out and really just, I mean, really just tackling some of these, some of the things that we've gone over as far as banners, logos, and thumbnails. And so if you guys would like me to go over your channel, or just ask questions, then I encourage you to just drop your name, kind of give me some topics that you'd like, short little segments within the live on Sunday. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be going over. It's pretty much what I'm going to be going over Sunday. And then the plan is to roll into a little bit of video editing, and just kind of what they call a workflow. So what you start with, and then again, the tech session, or this session coming up on this Sunday, we'll also have, I will be going over the camera gear and stuff that we use for our channel. But again, I needed something else to kind of fill the void, because that's not going to take me very long unless you guys start asking a bunch of questions about our gear. So again, head over before the live, drop your name in the comment section below. That way I can jot it down, and then we can discuss in a little bit more detail once the live is started what you guys wanted me to look at. So.
All right. So Down Under Farm and Forge and MB Heritage. You know, I think you guys come in a few minutes after we started, but I talked about Petway, or James's that jump that he got. I talked to him this afternoon for, I don't know, probably 10 minutes or so, and you know, it's kind of funny. He's, as you know, James is a big dude, and he was just giggling. He was so happy with this sub jump. So it was fun. He deserves it. I mean, they do good work, and they've had a challenging few months. So I am super happy for them. What else going on here? Bomber Steve, thank you for coming in. Take care. So as of last Wednesday, we were still kidless until Thursday morning. That's when we started getting our first babies were born Thursday morning. Started off with quads, set of quads, and then one of them died because we think the mama rolled over on it when she was giving birth. So she's still got 3 of them, and then 2 days later we had 2 additional sets of triplets. And then we had another set of triplets today, 2 more doubles today. So I think right now we're up to like 23, 24 babies. And we got, as of, I think we got 7 more does to go, 6 or 7 more does to deliver. So hopefully that will be,
one of my favorites actually gave birth today, Stormy.
Yeah, she
gave pretty babies.
Yeah, you're going to see a video. I'm going to enter into the shorts lottery tonight of Stormy's baby. And these are 8-hour-old triplets out of one of our favorite does, Stormy. She's just an incredible full animal. I mean, she probably only stands 2.5 foot tall, but she's just a solid goat, and probably weighs about 140 pounds maybe, but she had triplets today. One of them is a blue, or what's called a roan blue doeling. We don't have a blue doeling, so we will, I'm sure, be keeping that one. And then the other one that she gave us is a jet black, no white, nothing on her, just another jet black doeling, and then a little white buckling. So we were super happy. But Lala's been busy this week. She's 22, 23 kids in the last 3 days. So
I'll tell you this, our this year has been much more productive when it comes to the does than the bucks. I know last year we had a ton of bucks last year. And it's the girls are beating out the doelings are definitely beating out the bucklings this year. We've definitely had more doelings this year than we have had bucklings. And then last year, if you do remember correctly, if you've watched some of those videos, a year ago, Rose was the only one last year to give triplets, Ted.
right.
This year we've had multiple triplets.
Yeah, Amy says so.
And
This is the
quad, even though they didn't, even though all four didn't make it. She tried the quads. So
Amy says at Craze Family Homestead, she says, so this is the second doe with triplets. No, Amy, that is, I believe, as of today, that's the fifth doe with triplets this season. So, Lala's been tinkering with the feed for a better part of a year to try to get the exact nutritional balance that she wants. And that's really, that feed mix is what she featured in our last video where she was mixing it with the cement mixer. That's basically what she's doing. The only difference between what the does get and what the bucks get is she puts alfalfa in their base mix for the does, and the base mix gets mixed with Timothy pellets for the bucklings. That's the only difference. We don't give the bucklings alfalfa because it can lead to urinary calculi and some bladder problems and urinary tract problems. So, but we are just blown away this year. We've only had, well, I take that back. We've had 2 does out of, I think, so far that have delivered 8 does that have delivered. Only 2 of them have given us singles, and both of those that gave us singles are first-time mamas.
And they're big,
and they are big babies. So we're over the moon happy with this. So Lori said she's pushing for 53. I don't think we're going to hit 53, Lori, but we're certainly going to be upwards of 30. Lori, you weren't on earlier, but
I don't know if Lala wants 53.
Yeah, we don't want 53. I went back there before I come on to the live just to go see Stormy's babies tonight, and there's babies everywhere. I had to go find Stormy because she's one of the more standoff does, and she's like isolated from everybody else way out in the pasture. So I had to trounce through briars and everything to get over to her. And but there's babies everywhere out there. I mean, everywhere there's a corner, there's 2 or 3 babies cuddled up.
Yeah.
So,
Roland wants to know how many more does we got left.
I think there's 6, Roland. I think.
We still have 6, and the 6 that we have are they don't look like singles. So
yeah, one of them is the big matriarch. She's probably, when we weighed her, I was 175, 180 pounds going into birthing, and she looks like she's got 10 kids in her. I mean, she's
either going to, if it's anything like last year, she's either going to give us a very large kid, or she's going to give us some decent sized multiples, probably twins or triplets. But last year she gave us 1, correct, Dad?
Yeah, but we got 1 big. So
I think it was a Billy.
Free Handley Made, thank you. Free Handley Made, thank you for stopping by. Have a good evening. Yeah, Eva at Highland Homestead, the Leia was basically 40 pounds, 45 pounds larger than the sire that we mated her with this year. She is just a big girl. She's also our oldest goat. She's 6 years old as of, I think, January 3rd. So she's our oldest doe in our herd. And she is the one that kind of rules the roost. Everybody, she eats by herself. Nobody challenges her because literally she would, I think if she hit them full on, she'd kill them.
Well, the only way that they do challenge her, you'll see it sometimes, and it's absolutely hilarious. You'll see about 4 or 5 of them, and they'll get right next to the feed bowl, and they won't go in it until all 4 or 5 of them are ready to go at it at the same time, and then they'll jump in, and then at that time, sometimes Leia will back down, and then she'll go kick somebody else out of their feed dish. So
I didn't see you, Lori. I got my seeds today, so I didn't see her in here a little bit earlier when I told everybody. So, so things are looking good on that. So we will hopefully wrap up kidding season by this weekend, and then we'll know the total number, and whoever got closest to that, we'll figure out who's going to win that $20 Amazon gift card. Entries are closed as of last week's live because I said they were only taking guesses until the first one hit the ground. So last week's live is the last time you could have entered an entry. Upcoming videos, we got, you want to talk about that, Rick? I don't know what your timeline is.
I'm going to do the job I can at keeping this in a straight line. So we are going to be making some goat kid videos. I'm sure Lala will go in a little bit more in depth in her videos, but we're going to have multiple videos, I'm sure, coming out on these kids because, as Papa said in the past, there's really very few things that are cuter than little baby goats. Dad has been on another video. Dad has been battling some serious creatures, some serious rodents back at the main barn and in the in our workshop, and I think they're like super rodents, super rats and mice. So we got a video coming out on that. He's also got a tool review coming out that is really, really cool. He was super excited. First time I seen it, I was like, I really have no idea what you would use that for, but it is definitely when you're putting together stuff and it's kind of like that weird angle. And I give you a hint, it's a drill, but it's definitely it's a really cool tool. Again, we've said it in the past. We're going to be doing a comparison of the chick eaters, and then the headlight sunlight simulator, kind of to see what happens whenever we have our hens up underneath a sunlight, and see if they continue to produce as heavy as they would when they're not molting or in the longer portions of the year. So when there's more sunlight, there you go. So
Nona Grace says, I enjoy when Lala does a video. So do we. She just doesn't.
Go ahead.
You know, we got to coerce her into doing videos. She really loves her goats, and she knows. I'm not being just nice because I'm her husband. She probably knows more about goats than anybody I have ever met. Just metabolically, how a goat works. Her knowledge is just amazing. So people ask me about goats, and I don't even try to answer them. I just say, send Lala an email because I don't know, and I don't want to tell you something wrong. But she knows her goats.
Yep, it was kind of funny. We had Michael Harris out here a while back, a couple weeks ago, and him and his wife, they have Texas, correct, Dad? They're also in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So him and his wife, they're out in Texas. They have a few goats, and they're starting their own little homestead. And he was already over here, and he's always said to Papa that whenever I get a chance, I'll be stopping by the farm. And lo and behold, he actually did. And it was funny because Lala was like in her prime talking to Michael Harris about these goats. It was you couldn't shut her up if you wanted to. But it was like, he walked away with just like this endless amount of knowledge. And he had said actually in the video, if you remember, Dad, where he's like, I wish I could do the Matrix move and like plug something into the back of y'all's heads to remove all the info.
Tina Ladybug, I don't think I personally greeted you, so welcome. I just saw you're in here as well. Tony Walsh, welcome, sir. I didn't welcome you formally, so Lori's World, same thing. Although we're getting ready to get off. Better late than never. Eva, if you're still on here, hope you're feeling better. All right, that's all we got. Anything else, Rick?
Nope. I can tell you another joke.
All right, close it out with a joke.
The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All right. On that, folks, always remember, treat others as you would like to be treated. Be well, my friends. Take care.
Night, guys.